Hi, my name is Carolina Gellen. Welcome back to Food 52, where I'm gonna show you how to make a delicious burnt broccoli pesto. So we started by trimming our broccoli florets over here. We have a pan on medium heat in which I'm gonna drizzle a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. So our oil looks nice and hot. I'm gonna toss in the broccoli florets. Get a nice little sizzle. We have 8 ounces of broccoli over here. It's essentially just like one medium broccoli head, and we wanna char it. We wanna get that nice, beautiful burn to the broccoli. And what we're gonna do is weigh it down using another skillet, another pot, whatever you have. I'm using this mini, tiny cookie skillet to weigh it down. So you don't wanna move it, you don't wanna toss it, you just wanna let it burn, let it do its thing, and let it get nice and charred. I'll be right back with you in 4 minutes. It's been around 3 to 4 minutes. We can check on our broccoli. Again, we haven't moved it, we haven't done anything. And that is what you wanna see, my friend. See that beautiful charred crust. So now that the broccoli is nice and charred, we're gonna give it a little toss in the pan. Look at that beautiful burn. I feel like charred is a more elegant way to put this, but we're actually burning the broccoli. So now we're gonna go in with a splash of water to steam the broccoli. We're gonna cover it with a lid. This will cook and soften our broccoli, which is what we want in order to blend it. And make sure you're not too close to the pan when you throw in the water, because things will steam and splash everywhere, and you don't want your face near that. So just keep that in mind. So we're gonna add a splash of water and then cover this with a lid. You want to give it like 7 to 10 minutes or until the broccoli has like a beautiful bright green color. You can check on it from time to time, but just keep it covered and just let it do its thing. While our broccoli is steaming away, we're going to prepare a pot of boiling hot water to cook our pasta in. Now, when it comes to seasoning your pasta water, go for it. I usually do like 2 big 5-finger pinches of salt. And I always give this tip when it comes to pasta water. I know everyone's like, oh, it has to be as salty as the ocean. It has to be as salty as I don't know what. It doesn't. Like, you can always add more salt if needed, but you can't take it out. So always keep in mind how much salt you've added, just in case you're gonna add this to the sauce and you've already added enough salt to the sauce. You don't want things to go crazy. Don't get me wrong, I like salt, but I feel like we're a bit misleading with the whole like ocean water thing. So we're gonna place this pot on medium-high heat until it starts bubbling. Let's check on our broccoli. Beautiful. The way I like to test it is to pinch this with my tongues. If it goes through, like, it still has a bit of resistance, but it can go through it. It's not like super crunchy and tough. And while we're waiting for our pasta water to come to a simmer, don't forget to subscribe to this channel and like this video. And let me know in the comments below what's your favorite pesto. So the water is finally simmering. It's time to go in with some pasta. I chose rigatoni for this one. I feel like spaghetti is a nice shape for pesto. Anything you want, to be honest. I like rigatoni, so I'm gonna go in with some rigatoni. And keep in mind, we're making a pesto over here, so we don't have to cook the pasta al dente. We can cook it all the way through because the pesto doesn't need further cooking or emulsifying or anything like that. So the sauce will be ready, so the pasta should be fully cooked. All there's left to do is pick some sort of blender, masher, processor to blend everything together. My favorite tool to use is a mortar and pestle. The reason this is my go-to for pesto, it's because I can control the texture. I like a rough texture when it comes to pesto, especially having the charred broccoli in there. So I like to control that. Like, I can mash this up as much as I want and as much as I don't want. But if you want to use a blender or food processor, that totally works. Just keep this in mind. Like, you want to control the texture of the broccoli, so don't start by adding the broccoli first in the blender. We're going to start with some peppercorns. Black pepper is probably my favorite spice. Just give them a rough crush. I don't have ground pepper in my kitchen. It's so much less fragrant and flavorful and anything, so don't use pre-ground pepper, use whole peppercorns and crush them yourself. The scent doesn't compare to anything else. I'm gonna bring you closer so that you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going in with some pecans, pecans, beautiful. They're not toasted or anything. You could also use pine nuts, walnuts, or anything like that. If you have a nut allergy, you could totally use seeds instead, or you could just simply skip adding the nuts. Next, I'm going in with 3 cloves of garlic. And before you come for me, I know that's not 3. I didn't skip first grade. I know how to count. But these garlic cloves are just so tiny. I can't just add 3 of those. So I'm sorry for adding 10. And then I'm going in with a pinch of salt. The salt is amazing because it acts as an abrasive agent that really helps crush the garlic cloves. So we're just gonna give them a rough crush. Going in with the fresh basil. Beautiful. And then more salt on top of this one too. Next, we're going in with some freshly grated Parm cheese. You can add this later, earlier, after the oil, before the oil. It's really up to you. This is when I like to start adding oil to just loosen things up and make things easier to mix. Because right now there's not much else to crush. Now in with the broccoli. See how beautifully charred that is? This side looks normal, but this side is burnt. We're gonna add a few florets at a time and then roughly crush them. And the reason I like the char vegetable is that you get to have 2 flavors with one single ingredient. One of them is nice and fresh and vibrant, meanwhile the charred one is pleasantly bitter and deep and fragrant. I like to save a few pieces of burnt broccoli to garnish the final dish. And now we're gonna go in with the olive oil. You wanna use a good quality olive oil for this because we're not cooking it, we're not doing anything with it. It needs to be like a really good quality olive oil. We need a little bit more, and feel free to eyeball the oil. You can totally use my measurement, but you might need a little bit more than what the recipe calls for, just because you might use a little bit more broccoli than I did or stuff like that. So don't use that as a super strict rule. Feel free to add olive oil until you reach the desired texture. The color this thing has too, it's gorgeous. A little bit more olive oil, and then I'm just mixing this with a spoon. So we are all set, and I think that's it. We're gonna taste it, see if it needs more salt, see if it lacks anything, but so far it looks pretty hot. You can keep it in the fridge for up to 1 to 2 weeks, I would say. It has a lot of oil, which helps preserve everything in there. Don't limit pesto to pasta. You can pair this with sandwiches, stews, toast, eggs, pretty much anything you can think of, to be honest. Now it's time for the assembly. Whenever it comes to pesto pasta, I need a large mixing bowl to mix everything in. There's just something so satisfying about it. I'm not sure why, but it is. So here's my bowl. We're gonna dump in the cooked pasta. I left in a teeny tiny splash of pasta water just to loosen things up a bit. Then I'm going in with a large, maybe a couple of tablespoons of pesto. You can add more as you go. So let's just mix everything here. See, this is what I mean. It's just, I feel like a grandma that's like holding this bowl like this, and I'm just like mixing it. Like imagine this in like a beautiful garden in the middle of the summer. I don't know, this is what this bowl makes me feel like. It smells so good. Okay, then I'm going in with some extra broccoli on top, just like beautifully charred broccoli right on top of this, just like so. And then we're going in with more parm on top. Look at that. Time for the best part, the taste test. Let's see, make sure we get a cheesy one. Oh, look at that. Cheers. It's definitely not your classic pesto, but it's so, so perfect. You can find the full recipe on food52.com. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you next time. I'm eating this, so don't worry about that. I always eat food off the floor, like another confession for today. I feel like I'm not gonna serve it to someone else, but if I'm eating it, I'm cool with it.